Cycling thought it had seen everything. And then came Isaac del Toro, the quiet 21-year-old from Mexico who turned his second professional season into one of the most extraordinary breakout years in modern cycling in recent years. What began as promise became prophecy, and by the end of 2025, he's written history. He has broken records, he's conquered races all over Europe and shattered many records as well, some even belonging to Tadej Pogačar himself. Before we start the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do check out the Neo Pro season of Tadej Pogačar if you haven't already, to give a bit of a comparison. Coming into 2025, Isaac del Toro carried the weight of expectation that only a true prodigy can. After stunning the cycling world by winning the 2023 Tour de l'Avenir, the so-called Tour de France for youth riders, the Mexican was tipped as one of the sport's next great all-rounders. His first World Tour season in 2024 with U18 membrane showed flashes of immense potential, consistent performances in one-week stage races, and fearless racing style. He showed this by winning a stage of the Tour Down Under and also winning the overall in the Vuelta Asturias, building on the promise of 2024 with confidence of a rider who had already conquered every level beneath the elite. His season began in the Vuelta a Murcia, a modest Spanish one-day race that rarely changes careers. Yet for Del Toro, it was the first spark. He climbed with measured aggression and managed to finish 7th up there towards the front of the race. 2 days later, on the tough gravel roads and olive-lined roads of the Clásica Jaén, he went even better, being up there with the favorites, attacking on the final ascent, chasing down the lone leader Michał Kwiatkowski, but to no avail, however distancing everyone else and finishing just 31 seconds behind the veteran. Del Toro's reward was a call-up to Strade Bianche, the race that defines champions. There, Del Toro emptied himself on the white roads of Tuscany to help Tadej Pogačar claim a third triumph. He crossed the lines 33rd, but his hard work was noticed. At Tirreno Adriatico, his first major stage race of the season, once again Del Toro was working for someone else, this time working for Juan Ayuso, and managed to help his teammate finish the race as the final winner. By mid-March, he was back fighting for his own chances, and Milano-Torino, the oldest race on the cycling calendar, Del Toro was up there with the favorites towards the end. He launched a ferocious attack no one could follow, and he crossed the line, forgetting to zip up his jersey, but it was a sensational win, and he became the first ever Mexican winner. 3 days later, he lined up at Milano-San Remo. He was back on team duties for Tadej Pogačar. He rode with the front group over the Poggio and managed to finish 13th overall, the best young rider and top Latin American rider as well. April brought the Tour of the Basque Country, where Del Toro rode in services of Joao Almeida. Almeida winning the race overall, but Del Toro still managing to finish 15th overall and again winning the white jersey as the best young rider. Every week he was climbing closer to the sport's summit and showing the legs were coming. The next big test for him was the Giro d'Italia, his first one, and Del Toro had a bit of a score to settle with Grand Tour racing after not having the best debut in 2024 in the Vuelta a España. So the Giro was going to be a big test. UAE's plan was simple: let the Mexican learn, support the leader of Juan Ayuso, and finish the race. But Del Toro had other ideas. In the first week, he rode near the front, getting 12th in the first week time trial in Tirana. But on the first mountain stage, on stage 7, he was near the front with his teammate in the closing moments. Juan Ayuso attacked, won the stage, but Del Toro stayed close and managed to seal a second place, thereby getting a 1-2 result on the day for UAE, and in the process moving up in the GC. The next test was the brutal gravel stage on stage 9 across Tuscany, and on the white gravel roads, Isaac del Toro showed his pedigree and was in the winning move. He managed to get in the selection with Wout van Aert as well, working with the Visma Lease bike rider, and tried to get rid of him, but lost the stage in Siena and had to settle for second place. Despite not winning the stage, he earned enough time between him and the GC riders to take the Maglia Rosa, making him the first Mexican ever to lead the Giro d'Italia d'Italia and was a phenomenal occasion. From that moment, he defended pink with authority far beyond his years. On stage 10, a wet time trial, he was expected to lose the jersey, but he defended it well, still having an advantage of 25 seconds down to the other riders. On stage 11, he finished second again in a summit just behind Richard Carapaz, who had attacked before, and the Mexican was refusing to let go of that jersey. Stage 13, a punchy finish. Del Toro was in the mix towards the front, with only Mespilus and Wout van Aert getting the better of him in the finale, but he gained valuable bonus seconds and extended his lead in the GC. And when the race hit the high Alps, Del Toro was still there, dancing on the pedals alongside riders 10 years older than him. And on stage 17, with the Maglia Rosa still on his shoulders, Del Toro followed a crucial move by Romain Bardet and managed to outkick the small select group to take the stage win, claiming his first Grand Tour stage victory, which was a huge occasion. It was only on the penultimate stage on the savage slopes of Col de Finestre that Del Toro and UAE made a tactical blunder. Carapaz, the closest rider in GC, had attacked Del Toro. He followed the move and was marking him like a hawk. However, Simon Yates had made it up to the pair and crucially attacked, with none of the two responding to the Brit. Del Toro was more focused on Carapaz, and that mistake led to the British rider getting a huge advantage, and the advantage hammered home with Wout van Aert from the break dropping back, and also meant that Wout van Aert had not only denied him the stage win on stage 9, but also the final Giro d'Italia trophy as well. The Toro did fight towards the end, crossing the line, and in Rome he finished the race as overall second place and also won the white jersey. Despite the disappointment, it was still a very successful first Giro d'Italia for the Mexican. Less than a month later, Del Toro was already back racing at the Tour of Austria. The race began with UAE Emirates immediately stamping their authority on the race. On stage 1, it was Felix Großschartner who claimed the victory, leading an impressive UAE 1-2-4-5 and setting the tone for the week. But from stage 2 onwards, it was the Del Toro show. On the uphill finish on stage 2, he managed to outsprint Andrew August to claim his first victory. Stage 3 was a much sterner test with a 7.5 kilometer climb up the Geisberg, averaging 8%. Once again, it came down to Del Toro and August, but the Mexican proved stronger, riding clear in the final kilometers to win by 5 seconds and take control of the GC as well. Then came stage 4, a brutal ascent provided the hardest test of the race, yet Del Toro rose to the challenge. On the steep ramps, he powered away from his rivals to secure his third consecutive stage win of the race, this time over Archie Ryan. The victory completed his hat-trick and put him firmly in the leader's jersey, 29 seconds clear of Archie Ryan, with teammate Rafa Majka third, 47 seconds down. For UAE Team Emirates, the Tour of Austria had been nothing short of domination, 4 stage wins, with Del Toro emerging as the undisputed star, and he also took the points along with the youth classification as well. The next challenge was in Spain, and here he managed to win the Clásica Ter de l'Herbe, then continued to the Odissaco Classic, where he was getting help from his teammates and they worked very hard together, but he finished together with Igor Areta, who he gifted the victory to in a spectacular fashion. And then after that, he went to his big goal, the San Sebastian Classic, where he did attack hard, but unfortunately Giulio Ciccone got the better of him and he ended up finishing 5th place. That disappointment soon led up as he went to the next race, the Circo de Gescho, where a very strong performance by UAE Team Emirates got rid of the breakaway in the closing moments, and then Isaac Del Toro attacked hard with no one able to follow him, got a gap and contained that gap all the way to the finish despite chase from behind, and Juan Ayuso took 2nd place, and Del Toro taking a fantastic victory there with some good teamwork by UAE Team Emirates as well. The 21-year-old Mexican lined up for another stage race, this time the Vuelta Burgos. The race began with drama on stage 1, where Del Toro took a corner a bit too sharp and collided with Ciccone in the finale, leaving the Mexican bruised but unshaken. but in stage 3 he had a bit of drama with a puncture. He managed to get back into the leading group very quickly, and in the elite selection it was Leo Bizio who managed to slip away from the favorites and took the stage win along with the leader's jersey. And heading into the decisive finale, Del Toro trailed Bizio by 26 seconds, so the odds were definitely against him. The final stage was 138 kilometers to Lagas de Nelia, a climb of 6.4 kilometers, averaging 9.1% was the finale, and was infamous for deciding this race. With 3 kilometers to go, Del Toro and Ciccone surged clear of a reduced group, leaving the leader Bizio clinging desperately to wheels behind. Then with 800 meters to go, Ciccone sensed an opportunity, launched a vicious attack that Del Toro couldn't quite follow, powering to a deserved win for the Italian. But Del Toro, not far behind, held firm, grinding to the summit, just seconds behind the Italian, and more importantly, crossed the line 45 seconds ahead of Bizio, flipping the overall standings and securing the overall victory. Del Toro didn't just take the general classification, he claimed the youth classification as well, adding another white jersey to his growing palmarès and cementing his reputation as the next big thing. He became the first Mexican to win the Vuelta a Burgos, but he didn't beat the youngest rider record of this race, as that belongs to Remco Evenepoel, who was 20 years and 189 days when he won. Del Toro wasn't done yet, as in September he delivered one of the most spectacular achievements of his career so far. That was in Italy, where he went on a rampage. First, it started at the GP in Austria, where he made the race-winning move and managed to win the sprint. Followed days later at the Giro del Toscana, where he attacked with 27 kilometers to go, keeping a distance to the chasing group, holding them off and winning the race. Then came the Coppa Sabatini, where he attacked with 7 kilometers from the finish with him, but the Mexican attacked with 300 meters from the line and managed to get clear to win and complete the hat-trick, something Pogacar had never done in such a short time in Italy. And after not winning the Memorial Marco Pantani, came the Trofeo Matteotti, where the Mexican made it to the race-winning selection once more and showed how good his sprint is, getting to the front in the right moment and winning his 4th win in a single week. A hat-trick of Italian classics plus one more for good measure, the kind of dominance usually reserved for legends of the sport, such as not a 21-year-old in his 2nd year as a pro. The next big challenge was the World Championships in Kigali, Rwanda. Here he was not doing the under 23 category, he was going into the elite for the first time. In the time trial he showed how good he is against the clock as well, finishing 5th, only 3 seconds down on Tadej Pogacar, 2 minutes and 40 seconds down on the race winner of Remco Evenepoel. And in the road race he was in the pointy end of the race for a long time, and when Pogacar attacked, Del Toro was up there and managed to be the one to do the acceleration that got rid of his teammate Juan Ayuso. And he worked well with Pogacar for a long time, but unfortunately ran out of power, but still managed to finish in 7th place regardless. October brought yet more glory for him. In Giro dell'Emilia he was in the front favorites group on the final ascent up the iconic slopes of San Luca, and when Tom Pidcock attacked and got a gap, Del Toro was composed and attacked on the steepest section to claw back the Brit, and once he'd caught him, he managed to outkick the Brit to win another Italian one-day race and become the youngest winner of the race this century. At the Trevali Vaccin, he was not the main guy for UAE Team Emirates. That was Tadej Pogacar, who attacked on a downhill descent, but he still managed to get an 8th place. But at the Grand Piemonte, he attacked in a Pogacar-style way with a seated acceleration 19 kilometers from the finish. He delivered one of the most breathtaking performances of his season. He caught and dropped every rider ahead and then rode solo for the 18 kilometers to seal his 15th victory of 2025, and in the process as well climbed up into 2nd place in the World Tour rankings, surpassing Jonas Vingegaard and only Tadej Pogacar ahead of him. Truly amazing and an incredible domination. By the season's end, Del Toro has accumulated 15 victories at Grand Tour podiums, 6 Italian one-day races, and this distinction of being the youngest rider to hold the Giro d'Italia's leaders jersey for 9 days. when placed beside the benchmark on modern cycling greats, the magnitude of his second year is even clearer compared to Remco Evenepoel, who in his second year did have a compromised schedule, but won 9 races that included the GC of the Vuelta a Burgos, like Del Toro, the Toro of Polonia, and the Tour of San Juan. Jonas Vingegaard, in comparison, is his second year had not added more wins to his record to complement his Toro Polonia win in 2019, so was nowhere near what Del Toro has achieved here. And Tadej Pogačar in his second World Tour season did also win 9 victories like Remco Evenepoel, but crucially won the Tour de France 3-stage victories plus the Tour of Valenciana, which was extraordinary. So Isaac Del Toro, his 15 victories across one-day races and stage races, does put him in a bit of a different category. Not completely the same as Tadej Pogačar, but he almost did win the Giro d'Italia. So we'll see where Del Toro ends up. He isn't the future of cycling anymore. He is the present, potentially, and in 2025 he proved exactly why he's unstoppable. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as that really helps. And why not comment down below which has been your favorite victory of Isaac Del Toro's career so far. And of course, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.